Hey, welcome to Slim Hoffa's True Crime Time. Today we're going to be discussing Trezell and Jacqueline West's trial. Um, for those of you that don't know what this case is about, Jacqueline and Trezell West adopted Warren and Arson West. Well, Sincere and Classic. That was their biological names. They have changed their names once they adopted them. Um, I'm just waiting for Sarah Jean to jump on and we could discuss more. But they adopted them, well, they fostered them in 2018 and adopted them the following year. They also have two other adopted children and two biological children. So altogether, they had six kids in the house. Um, on December 21st, 2020, Trezell West called 911 and said that the boys were missing. Um, he reported them missing from his backyard. He said that he let them play with chalk in the backyard, and somehow, while he was stocking up wood for a fire, they somehow lost the kids from the backyard. That's their story. Um, so yeah, and then it took a while for them to get updated pictures on these boys because they had no updated pictures on them. They had nothing. Um, what else? So they reported them missing around 5 o'clock p.m. There's cameras that were pointed towards their house that seen everything. Oh, Sarah's right here. Hey, Carla. Hey, Sarah. Cracking sound hard, understand. Okay, okay. Let me see. Maybe if I. Okay, I'm gonna add Sarah. Okay. Do I still sound like I'm cracking? Yes.
It's really staticky. It's even worse now that I'm on. For everyone in the chat, can you hear static when we talk, or is it just me? So I know, so if I have to fix something.
I think I have to fix. Let me see.
Okay, Too Sunny said there is a cracking sound and it's hard to understand what you're saying.
Is it now? Do we sound good
Better.
now?
Yes, you're clear.
Okay, perfect. There was something going on. Okay, so I was explaining the beginning of the case for people that haven't been following the case, don't know what's going on. Trezell and Jacqueline West, they adopted Orrin and Narson West, and they reported them missing from their backyard on December 21st, 2020, around 5 p.m. And they still have not found Orrin and Narson West. Um, Now, we have reason to believe that Orrin and Narson West are gone. Um, their own biological children said that they were gone. Child, one of them. And yeah, pretty much we're going through the trial right now. And sorry. And real quick, uh, I just want to play the interview real quick to hear exactly what Trezell said during his interview on what happened to the boys. That voice is Matt. I don't know if anybody can hear it. Can people hear it still?
No, we can't hear it. I was talking. I was like, whoa, I had
Okay,
my
hold on.
mic muted. Um,
Okay, let's see.
we can hear it. It's just low.
Okay, let me put it up a little. Okay. Okay, sorry, little technical difficulties. Okay. It's like waiting for them to talk. Hold on, let me fast forward a little.
Yeah, we could barely hear it. It reminds me of like the old TVs you used to have to smack and put tinfoil on the antenna, like the sound won't come in. Like
Okay,
the sound is just
I got
that's the only way I
it's
could
way
explain
low,
it.
right? She's over here trying to smack her phone up, like, hello.
Yes, I'm like, come on.
Okay, we got it better now.
Okay.
Okay. They're setting up their mics. Let me fast forward it. Uh, why is it playing with me today?
Are you able to put the video up on the back screen?
I mean, I can put my. Hold on. Let me. I
I was just
can.
curious if you knew how to do that yet. I know that stuff's all tricky. I don't know how to do it all, but I know it's like a green screen feature, and then you can play the actual footage and audio.
Yeah, it's that's on the computer, I think, but like I'm not on my computer.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
think I
yeah.
can do it,
Mm-mm.
but I can do this. I don't know if you can see well. These are the evil people. Tell me you guys can hear that. If not, you know what? I got technical difficulties coming on. So we'll hold on for a minute with that. Um, I gotta set it up a certain way. I gotta put my speaker on.
You want
Um,
me to try?
I mean, if you can, yeah.
Give me just 1 second.
I'm sorry, everybody. It's like all over the place. In the meantime, hi Carla, hi Karen, to Sunny Mama, Opa. Uh, who else is in here? The real T. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome. I'm sorry I'm all over the place today, but it's okay. We're still gonna get awareness out for our boys. We're still gonna get to talk about Orvin and Arson. Um, just give us a little moment while we sort this out. Let me grab my speaker real quick. Oh my Jesus. One second, everyone. I'm so sorry. and trying to figure this out.
So I'm just trying to find the full video because this one's only 10 minutes long and it doesn't seem to start where I remember it starting.
Okay.
Send me the link to the one you wanted to play. How about that? And then I'll just play it.
I'll send you the link right now.
No, for the interview. Like if you send me the link, I'll click it and then play it for the audio for us.
Okay, I sent it to you, Sarah.
Okay. Hold
All right. You got it. I gotta figure out this Bluetooth. Um, headphones. No. I'm sorry, people. I'm very sorry. We're having a little bit technical difficulties. We're trying to play the interview so people can hear the people that don't follow this case and want to know a little bit more. We're trying to play the interview. Hey, Patty Walker.
Okay. Let's give this a try.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this is not good. I'm just like,
Hold on.
oh, I really want to play that interview. Let's see. I really can't get it. Oh, I need a computer savvy person.
It's just different when you're not on the computer, when you're on your phone. That's your issue. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I almost got the Bluetooth on. Ooh,
I was just gonna say I'm about to put my Bluetooth speaker on.
I got it on. I think this might work.
Okay, let's try this.
Okay. It's connected. Yay. Okay, now we can go back. All right. Where's my video? Okay, give me a little second. Almost there. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Almost there. My internet is like really slow today for some reason. I don't know why. Um, Okay, let's go. Let's move. Okay, now we got it. But why isn't my... Sorry, that's a commercial. It says it's connected.
I could hear it though, so you're getting there.
Okay, I'm getting there. Okay.
YouTube and StreamYard and their technical difficulties.
Can we hear this? No. Hold on. Why would it work? It's paired. Okay. Why would I go on my speaker? Ah, I was so close. My computer is not picking up. Like, what's going on?
Getting cold, and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street.
I'm sorry, people.
I searched, I called their names.
Give me a few seconds.
And I came home, I told my wife, it's getting dark and I need help.
Let's go with pairing for a minute.
Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there, and we wanted to keep searching. But everybody came out in droves, and I wanted to thank you guys.
Yes, it's playing, but it's very low. I gotta start all over.
The best are out here
I'm
searching,
just trying to get that.
and we appreciate
Why
it.
is it not
And
pairing?
nobody ever could tell me, could never
It
talk to
said
me.
connected.
And that was the issue. I just want to thank everybody. Really want to thank you guys. Please, if anybody.
Hold on. These line people need to be quiet. It's better now. Leave it like that. Okay. All right. Everybody's saying it's better now. Okay. Okay. Let's go back. All right. I'm sorry.
Ellie's family invited us to their summer house. Don't embarrass me.
Sorry. It's commercial. Commercial.
When I show up today, who don't come back from?
Okay.
All right, Chief Walker, I really appreciate you sitting down.
What is going on here?
It's about a month now since 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Lauren West have gone missing. That's correct.
That was the wrong interview. No.
Anybody have seen?
We will go back. Okay.
We just want to thank everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless, and seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot. So, tell us what happened the night before. We turn now to your 17th court watch and staggering testimony today in the trial
sorry,
of
guys.
Trezell and Jacqueline West, accused of murder.
My computer is touch screen, and I just pressed something by mistake.
Oh, okay. Oh, my yard. It was cold. I was gonna make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I open up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two go outside and play with chalk. And back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. Keep them close. They was playing with chalk. And I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them then. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them, so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that hadn't panned out, I got in the van. I looked down the street in both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see me. So then I came home and I told my wife we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going. So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there and we wanted to keep searching. But everybody came out in droves. And I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside. The cops told us the best are out here. The best are out here searching. And we appreciate it. And nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody. And that was the issue. We just want to thank everybody. We really want to thank you guys. Please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know. It call the cops. Call California's the city police department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be here in this area. And I really would like to go in the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry. If you got any questions. Oh no, you're good. Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it. For you guys, for people who are thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved. We just spoke to the biological mother. She says she had a conversation with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved. That she thinks you guys did something. And that's understandable. What's your response to that?
Oh my Jesus.
Correct. What is the morale?
Sorry, one second. A little bit technical difficulties.
Response to that? That's understandable. I would think the same thing. Yep. I mean, that's exactly the point. And we can find our babies, and guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her
Hold on. He said if we can find our babies, then that's a no. What does that mean?
this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children. We named them, and they are our children, and so we want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys are doing, we should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech, so they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's part of the investigation. So that's pretty much it. Have you guys, you talked to police all last night? Yes. What? So you guys willfully gave them your everything? Yes. The car? Yes. Did they get it? How did they get a search warrant? I don't see why they got one, but they got one. Yeah, we would have let them take anything. We would have let them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that. What did they take? Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones. From the house yesterday. Should have been out there the first day. All right, oh, well, I guess, should I answer that? Or? Answer it does, yeah. Okay. So, okay, I guess, don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did. Uh, Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put, they have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time in there.
He had sitting down. We would ask, can we go help? They had to sit down.
Said nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
we
it's
need
not,
you guys here because we have more questions.
I don't want you guys thinking we didn't try. We actually looked
tried.
before we called
We
police.
Looked, yes.
And I imagine the mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are they?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing? And at what time were they reported missing to the police?
I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said. 5-ish. That's about it. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
After we searched
Yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search. Okay. It was within minutes.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure like everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them, or anything, please call the police department.
Would you be willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
A lot of people are speaking of this as, after the math, past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each other.
Kids.
They're kids. Of course, they would love to go out, but so during the pandemic, we weren't trying to go, out here, and so we stayed inside.
Yes.
We did. We searched before we called the cops. That's what we said.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then we called. I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, one of those streets over there. I said, "Did you see some little black kids?" And that's the way I was gonna come. But when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take 2 people to go in the house and leave 2 kids out here by themselves? It should have been 1 parent going in and 1 parent right here watching the child, not 2 parents going in the house and leaving 2 little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard, and the back gate was open.
Out the backyard.
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood from this lot here.
So you guys been unresponsible, left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
All right. Sorry. You guys were talking about your boys who you're, I understand. For a mother, a mother's intuition. I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just.
They're not walking around.
These patches. They definitely. I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off of the yard before?
No.
They've never taken off before?
No.
It's Orrin Larson. Sincere and classic.
If
If your business kept employees on payroll throughout the pandemic, innovation refunds could see if it may quiet this up. All right. Yeah, so that was the interview. And we all see that they're lying. We can see it. I mean, it's obvious. Um Sarah, you back? Or are you
Yeah,
just
I'm
in the
here.
bushes?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I was in the bushes.
Yeah.
Listening.
All right, so now we got the interview down. Everybody knows a little bit about the case. Now we could go into the trial on what happened these few days. Ugh, this case is bananas. I didn't like the way the lawyer was interrogating the child. Who was that? Adrian?
Yeah, she was rough on all
Um,
of them, but especially him.
yeah, really rough. And then just like
Because he's the one who told the full truth. So she's trying to get him to, she was re-victimizing him for one, and making him more nervous and scared, and by making him look at his parents and asking him all those questions. And she kept implying he was lying, which basically she might as well just said, you lied, right? Like, how you gonna do that to a child who's trying to tell what really happened?
exactly.
But he still isn't telling it all either.
There's probably more to the story. He's just scared because he's right there in front of his parents, and you know, any facial looks can make him like, oh my god, I said something wrong. I should have never said that. He was taking it all back. Everything that he said in the interview, he was like, I don't remember, because his
Yeah, he
parents
was
are right there.
playing Maria and Wanda Brain. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
and
have a
then Miss,
theory of a with
yeah,
Adrian. I just want to say real quick because first of all, he has this demeanor where he's aggravated and can't be bothered and has no emotions, which is sad,
right,
but he was raised that way. Plus, this has to do with him, and I think he's afraid of being in trouble. And then the way the interviews went and the more I listen and put the pieces together, I'm like, you know what? They gave him such high authority that when he was questioned, hey, how would you guys get punished, or how would Oren get punished? He would say, well, we would, as if he was one of the parents with authority. And
right,
my conclusion was that night, because he sounded really aggravated about, how they were chewing with their mouth open and Oren stole Orson's cup and all that went down. And then the punishment part, I think that Adrian was the one that punished Oren that night and accidentally hurt him. And mom and dad were covering up for him, or why else would they ask him, should we call 911 or not? If we do, this is what's going to happen. And I believe that they started covering up for Adrian. I don't know what happened with Orson from there after that. I believe kind
right,
of a collateral damage situation. But I believe the initial uh, incident with Oren was caused by Adrian, and mom and dad wanted to cover it up. So they were all three in on this lie together, and no one else except for Wanda and Maria knew. That's just my theory. I really feel that in my gut and heart that that's what happened, and that boy's all messed up. You can tell he has no emotions. He like the only time he showed emotion was with his when he was questioned about his mom a little bit more. And that was
mm-hmm,
it. Of course, I wasn't in the courtroom to see his emotions, but just based off of what the news reported and tweeted and like what people in the courtroom kind of said here and there, I'm gathering he really has not much emotion going on there.
right. That's deep. That's something to take in, you know.
Yeah. It is.
Wow. It's crazy the way this happened. Like, and then, you know what? We might not even know what really happened. We might not ever get to know what really happened, but we definitely will find the boys, no matter what. I have faith in that. So yeah, other things that happened during the trial. Let's see.
Opal, I agree with you that he was parenting with them as if he was a parent and he was the punisher most of the time. And because he was with them, watching them and telling them, remember he said on the stand, well, he would see the kids chewing with their mouth open. He knew mom and dad didn't like that. So he would tell them, don't chew with your mouth open. He kind of raised his voice. And I thought, oh, he's got some
He's
authority there.
very
And he
annoyed.
sounded irritated still today about it. Like it's not just something that happened. It's like he was still irritated about it. You
And the
see
way
like that stuck?
the boys always cry, they're rambunctious. The way they explain the boys, and then they're just like, "Oh yeah, we left them in the room when he'll cry a lot. We just close the door." Like the way they treated or sincere and classic is crazy.
It is. And I also agree with you, Opal, on well, I kind of always knew it was Jay. Jay's always, for me, been the ringleader. She's been the one in charge. But that's, maybe Mama Bear trying to protect her family because, their son did something that they instilled in him and it went too far. So they feel, they're all guilty. They're guilty of abuse, number one, first and foremost, regardless. And they need to be charged as such, especially after was his name? I want to say Amari, but it's not. It's the 16-year-old, where the two youngest adopted boys that were still left with the West, their older brother. When he took the stand, oh my,
Oh yeah,
he he really put perspective on what happens in that household.
yeah. Tell
And
tell them what some people do not know. What he said. He said, Jacqueline would hold him down. How did he put it? How he said it? Hold on, I want
he
to
said,
get the
and he even did a demonstration. He said she would basically sit and have them on her lap and put her legs around them and then her arms
Mhm.
around the neck like a chokehold. And then if they
Right.
cried, she would scream really, really loud so no one could hear them crying. And she would scream over them and try and get them to stop crying by yelling, which probably only
What
scared
kind
them
of
more and made them cry more.
that makes you crazier? Like somebody's holding you down like that and screaming. Like,
Yep.
oh my god.
They went from like a very happy home to like the house of horrors. And I feel so, my heart is so broken for that. Just to imagine what they went through and then hearing the testimony from that 16-year-old giving us a little insight in what the family is like. Not only that, he said they're liars. He goes, and I'll tell you an example. And he said, they told him when he was living there, they said, if you get good grades, we'll buy you those Jordans you want, the shoes. He goes, and
Yeah.
I did. I got good grades. He goes, but they never got me the Jordan. And then he said after they would punish the kids really bad and abuse them, then they would go buy them something to keep them from talking, to stop them from telling about the abuse. And I'm not sure which child initiated the um, part about telling how they were spanked with a belt and the belt buckle would make them bleed.
Right.
And it didn't just happen to Orrin and Orson. Oh, hi, I have a butterfly in my face. I love it. It didn't just happen to Orrin and Orson. It happened to, I think, any of the kids that did something to where they thought that was the punishment they deserved. And the sad part is all these kids literally out of their mouths said, well, we deserved it. They literally think they deserved those punishments, those harsh.
Yeah.
And what
So
10-year-old says tongue lashing. You know, like, oh, we would just get tongue lashings because when we moved to Cal City, Dad just started doing tongue lashings and timeouts more. There was no more spanking because he was too stressed out and didn't want any more extra stress. And I'm like, okay, that says a lot.
Right.
Because one of the punishments went too far with Oren, and they didn't want to do it again to one of their kids. But I still think it was Adrian was the punisher the night with Oren. And Adrian also said when Oren took Orson's cup that night, they were he was told to hit Orson was told to hit, they were told to hit each other and hit each other back and give them what they deserve and do it back to them and all this stuff, something like that.
Right.
I can't tell
They
you
were putting
the exact
right.
statement. Yeah, and I'm just like, oh, so they were even, told to fight each other like crazy. And Adrian was asked about, and they didn't say what it was. They said it was a picture and there was an object. I think it was in the van. And they said, do you know what this is? He said, yes. And they said, well, what was it used for? What is it? Da da da. And he said, Dad was teaching me how to defend myself, self-defense, with what I think is probably like a stick or some sort of weapon like that, which is
Right.
crazy. You don't teach a 10-year-old to use any kind of weapon. I don't care if it's a twig, a stick, a rock. You don't. That's not okay. Go get them karate classes. Go put them in jujitsu. Teach them,
They
you know,
they
the
them
right
like
way to
army style on
yeah,
mats. They
it
have
was so
on
crazy.
like what was going on?
Yeah, but check this, what I noticed. I noticed that when Wanda was giving her on the stand, well, on via uh Zoom, she was
Hmm.
trying to make excuses for those things. Like they didn't just do that to the kids, because she said when she stayed at Cal City, her and um um Josiah slept on the mats in the living room on the floor. So she wanted to make it like, oh, it wasn't just the kids that slept on the mats on the floor. That's just if we needed a place to sleep, that's where it was. Why? There was another bedroom.
Right.
Like it don't make sense.
We all sleep. That's what she's trying to
There's
make
a
it seem like.
couch.
But
I would be on the couch before I'd be on the floor, Grandma. Don't be lying over
yeah,
here trying to cover up, because you know you're lying, because you would not sleep on the floor over a couch, especially at your age, lady.
imagine her being on the floor.
No way. I wouldn't even be able to get up off the floor if I slept on the floor overnight, you know? And then another thing I noticed is Josiah, when this all first went down, he seemed to be the one that really talked good about the boys and they were good boys and he loved them, while everyone else was saying they were rambunctious, they were this, they were that. He cared for them,
Right.
like truly deeply cared for them. And the odd thing for me is he's the only one not being named as a visitor for the children.
Mm.
Jamal is visiting with Wanda when she visits the kids. Jamal's with her,
Yeah, and
you
she's
know.
she's in
So
likely in Jamal's house right now.
100%, I guarantee it. Because didn't they say she was in Washington or something? And isn't that where he lives?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he's got the law background, so he's coaching her. He's going with her on visits to coach the kids. It's clear as freaking day.
Right.
I just don't, and I know the jury sees this. Come on, because your average Joe can see it. Like, like, and everyone's worried, well, the defense is getting this in their head and they're going to forget about this. No, they're not going to forget about nothing, because first of all, they have transcripts, videos. When they go into that jury room to deliberate, they do talk amongst themselves, but they don't just say, well, hey, let's go off of what this person said or that. No, they're going to go through the transcripts, discuss it, refresh their memory of everything from the trial. So it's going to take a minute for a deliberation, and then they're going to make their decisions. So everything's not going to be pushed away out of their memory like some people are thinking. They're going to refresh their memory going over all the evidence. That's why it's being submitted. That's why this picture is submitted as evidence marked blah, blah, blah. And this video is marked and submitted as evidence B101 or whatever. And so that's because when they go to deliberation, that's what they have to go on. That's why some stuff's not allowed, some stuff is. Because they don't want to give them they don't want them to have certain evidence that they think would persuade them in the wrong way, because it wasn't quite evidence, it was more hearsay type thing, you see?
Right.
So that's why some evidence is submitted and some isn't. But all the evidence that I heard submitted, I do not see this going any other way. There's going to be a guilty verdict, and they need to add abuse charges and neglect as well. And what was I going to say? Like Keish said, all we need is 12 out of the 13 jurors to say guilty. Even if one juror isn't sure, we're still okay. And I don't believe that that'll even happen. I think all 13 are going to be on board full throttle.
Yeah.
Opal, Sesame Street labeled exhibits. I love it. The fish called Wanda, memory loss Maria. I mean, oh, goodness, what a crap show they made out of this.
It's crazy.
And Liz, you're absolutely right. Eric is going to bring all that up in closing arguments, and he's probably got some extra that he was saving for it too. Karen, I don't quite agree with that about every time the kids went to lunch and came back, it was I don't know or I don't remember. It was actually I don't know, I don't remember until they played the interview for them and refreshed their memories. And then they knew they couldn't lie because, oh, wait, I was recorded. That's right. I can't take my word back now. I have to still tell the truth. I can't lie on stand. I can't take it
Right.
back now. They have me on camera. So that would refresh their memory. And then all of a sudden their memory came back a lot.
And
That's
then
one
there
thing
was,
I noticed.
yeah, that's true.
Hmm. Yes, an imaginary TT over there. And people
Uh,
call their aunts TT for short sometimes. And
yeah,
in the Hispanic culture, especially, like, you know what I mean? And so that's where she
yeah.
came up with that. Oh, the biological aunt showed up, said her name was TT. Oh, come on, come on. Like, it doesn't take a fool to put that together. That was a really easy one to come up with. Oh, I'm like, oh, I have a butterfly hanging with me though for this live, I'll tell you that. That's a good sign, you know.
I'm reading the article and it says that the older son, Adrian, he told a social worker when his family was living in Bakersfield, he heard gagging at night. The next morning, his parents checked on Orrin and found vomit, and he was dead. He also said he
Yeah.
heard a bump in the night in their California home and that he didn't see Orson again.
So with the gagging sounds, he explained it on the stand. He said that, or in one of the interviews anyway, he said that they would cough a lot. It could be allergies, it could have been anything, but he said that Orrin and Orson would cough a lot. And so he heard it from his room and he thought, oh, they're just, coughing, they need a drink or something. And he went to bed type thing. And then he
Mm.
said when he woke up in the morning, they asked if he went in the room and saw her, and he said no. He goes, I walked by the room, saw him laying in bed wrapped in his blanket, figured he was asleep. So I went to brush my teeth and get ready for school. And then I went to the schoolroom. So after that, somehow or other, he ended up being taken into Oren's room or went into there. And that's when his parents supposedly told him, and he felt his leg and it was cold. And no 10-year-old's going to come up with all that stuff out of nowhere.
Right.
And they weren't coaxed into it either. You're not going to, you could tell he was telling a story, but he was still leaving stuff out. And
Mm.
yeah, some of it don't add up because he's a kid trying to stick to a story. You know, like he doesn't want to implicate himself too much. That's why he was like, "Oh yeah, I walked past the room, saw him in bed, figured he was asleep." And my parents pulled me in there later and told me he had died. Um, so there is a little bit of change in his testimony here and there, but that's just nerves, you know, because he feels like he's going to get in trouble. For one, for lying. For two, I think he did it. And,
Right.
you know, I don't know. There's reasons that kids will change their story here and there just a little bit. It's not like it was drastically changed. Like the defense is trying to make it out to be. It was
Right.
slightly little inconsistencies or little changes just because of nervousness or, you know, fear. So my opinion, personal opinion, but I'm not a professional. But the professional that the defense fished for that works with kids, OMFG. The
Yeah.
her ratings are also bad. Apparently, she had a child R case and she only spent 20 minutes reviewing all the documents. And her technique is not to question the parents to implicate them into getting in trouble or something. It's just a whole hot mess. She's being
Right.
sued. People are like, don't waste your money. She'll steal your money and do nothing for you. She's not for the kids. She does nothing for the kids. She was supposed to refer my child to something, never did. Like, terrible lady to have on stand. And
She was like a
when
waste of time.
But when everybody in the chat started sharing the reviews and everything about this lady that was on the stand, I will give it to Nikki Laverne for handing that over to family in court and people that were in the courtroom so they could hand it over to the DA to investigate. And they did bring it up. And that will discredit that witness.
Right. That's awesome.
The judge should be like, okay, you hired a witness and do a background check to see if it's even should be allowed to even be on stand. Does it say professional witness? I don't care. She's been in the business for 25 years. Let's see her record. Let's see what people say about her professionalism before you allow it to just put on a show, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and it's funny though, because every time Taurus doesn't get her way, she gets really loud and angry, and then she gets quiet and goes, okay, because she can't make them say what she wants them to say.
Right.
Yeah, that is cruel, Karen, but I still feel like it initially started protecting Adrian, and then from there they had to protect themselves as well, and then whatever they did to Orson after that. But Adrian seems to know a lot more about what happened to Orson too, and more than the other kids do, because he's the one who heard the thump. So he had something to do with that too, I think. He was just way more involved than they're saying. It shows. I'm reading comments really quick. Yeah, it's let's go. Yeah, it's usually Tia or TT. I know a lot of people who are like Puerto Rican or different Hispanic and different cultures and stuff. And even though they
They say,
do say Tia, they also say TT as well. It depends on the family, the person and stuff, but it's usually that kind of cultural thing. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Oh, they said in one of the videos of the oldest child, that's Adrian, with
Uh-huh.
the social worker, Sonia Barton asked him what he smelled when Oren had died. He said he didn't smell anything. Then a minute later, he says he did smell something, but he couldn't tell what it was.
So he was in the room when he died.
Hmm. He had to be, or maybe, I
Had
don't
to be,
know.
because listen, you're not going to start smelling that body within just a few hours of like an overnight sleep. So he was in the room, didn't smell anything, and then when you die, what happens? Your stuff comes out. And so
Yeah.
then yes, there's the smell. So he was absolutely in the room when it happened.
Wow.
That's another thing I forgot I caught on to then. I'm glad you brought that up. I caught a few
Right.
things. I'm really good at catching things and putting them together. And like, oh, okay, wait. Hmm. So if you weren't in the room, how would you know it didn't smell than it did a minute later? You had to be in the room when it happened. You weren't
Right.
asleep in bed. You didn't wake up to be told nothing. You were in the room when it happened. You knew probably before you went to bed that night, and you probably slept real good because that poor little boy, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for him, but at the same time, he's evil, and I'm scared for the future of whoever's in his life because he has no emotion. He acts like this is all like irritating to him and aggravating and just wants it to go away because it's just what it is. And I don't like that. It
Well,
makes me
that's
feel
how
like he's going to grow up to be like something bad.
they
And I hate to say that
raised
about
him like
children, but
that.
his attitude on the stand just was so terrible. And he kept like he was irritated for being there, just like his dad did in the interview. Remember, he kept going, like, those little grunts.
Yeah.
Adrian was grunting too on the stand. You could hear it. You could hear his aggravation. He couldn't hold it in. He was bothered, didn't want to be there. I just want this to go away and move on with my life. He has no emotions, doesn't feel sorry. You could totally see, feel, and hear it. And that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, he's raised by Trezell and Jacqueline. That's their
Right.
biological.
Yeah. So I am anxious for next week, and I hope that closing arguments don't go on forever, like maybe just a couple days or something. And then they can go into deliberation. And then I don't think there's like any holidays coming up next couple weeks. So unless the juror has a doctor's appointment, like Keish said, or something, because they all have to be there that same day together, or they can't deliberate that day. So that might prolong the deliberations a little bit if one of them can't be there that day. But other than that, I don't see it taking too long. But I would say that the verdict won't be in too quickly because they're going to carefully go over everything and make sure to thoroughly go over everything before they say the verdict. Even if they already feel like they know what it is, what they want it to be, they're still going to have to go over everything and before they say the verdict, because otherwise it's kind of like, oh, well, you didn't sit there and really go over this. You already had it in your head. So yeah, it might take a couple days for the verdict, I'm feeling, but not like a week or anything, nothing big or long. I think it'll be pretty quickly. Just I think closing arguments is going to take a minute. But then again, maybe not, because like the defense don't really have anything, and all the witnesses they grabbed out of the garbage, like they searched the trashiest people off of the internet and paid them with taxpayers' money to come do nothing. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know, man.
They said the Google account information. They had more than 20 deleted location history files. I mean,
Hmm.
200 deleted.
Yeah, I
200
was say.
locations. And then they said between September and December, the West had 5 different phone numbers between them.
And I
So,
think one of them was the Adrian's watch, by the way. The one that says
mm,
that they have an unnamed person for that number. I think that would be Adrian's watch.
mm,
He's a minor, maybe they don't want to, they can't say it or don't want to or something. Or that, you
oh,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, yes, Opal. Yes, I need to go listen to that shortly as well. Thank you for hopping on, and we appreciate you. And much love and light to you, love.
Yes, yes.
Right, Starlight? Me as well. I would love to have seen the body language because it says more sometimes than the actual words coming out of the person's mouth.
Yeah.
But the grunting alone said a lot to me. He had that that like grunt, like I'm irritated, I'm over this, just like his dad did, just like Trezell did in that interview. Remember when Trezell was explaining something and then he was like, "Oh, like like am I getting this right? This I'm over this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here," like type thing, you know?
The huffing and puffing.
Hmm. Right, Gail? That is sad that they treated the biological children like they were, special and the adopted children were just money bags, really. And
Yeah.
it's just it's really daunting to hear, and it says a lot. And that's why Torres was hung up on the fish, because one of the kids said the older kids had more in their room. They had a fish, they had this. We didn't have any of that. So then every kid was interrogated about a fish. Oh my God. I'm still got a headache from it. I'm like, this lady went on and on and on and on and on and on about a fish and a TT, and I'm like, oh my Lord, please help me.
She got nothing. All she got is trying to make people look like they're lying, or she really doesn't have nothing. Or the case
Hmm.
wasn't handled properly.
Hmm. But I will tell you right now, I have a very good feeling. I'm not worried about the verdict, and I'm going to stand with that and pray on that, even though I feel like it's already in existence and God's got his hands all over this. And hopefully one of them speak up before or after the conviction and say what they did with them. Because that's the only thing they didn't tell Adrian.
Right.
And how are you going to sit there in an interrogation and tell the police, well, I don't know why he's lying. Why would he make up that story? I don't know why he would lie. Kids do lie. Wait, you just said you don't know why he would lie. He's not a liar. You just discredited yourself. You just said my kids don't lie. They're not liars. But then you turn around and you contradict yourself and say, well, I don't know why he's lying. Well, obviously he is a liar if you think he's lying. Oh, wait, no, wait. You already said he's not a liar and we know he's not and he's telling the truth. How about that?
Right.
You know? Oh, so aggravating listening to those interviews because you want to, go through the phone and choke or throat punch someone. Oh man, I have to give the utmost respect to not just the family that's in the courtroom, anyone that's in there supporting the family and the boys for keeping their
Yeah.
composure through this because man, I don't know if I
Right.
could have. I'd have
is
stood
really
up and
hard.
been like, I know, I would have stood up and been like, what do you call it? Uh, you know, order in the court, get the kid off the stand, this poor child. Like, quit interrogating him like this. You know what I mean? I would have been all over that one because they were trying to bully him into saying, yeah, I lied and change his story on stand, and that would have been their wow moment, and it didn't happen. And she was done with them after that.
Yeah.
It just showed she was trying to be the one coaching them on the stand in the courtroom. Even though she's saying he was coached by other people, she was sitting there right in front of all of us trying to coach him on the stand. I hope everyone picked
Asking
up
the
on
same question
that.
different way. She was asking the same question in different ways. It was just like annoying. Like,
Yeah, so crazy. I agree, Starlight. And not only that, they were not financially stable. They didn't have an apartment big enough for all those kids. So how in the world they adopted them, I have no idea. But the state paid them to take someone's kids that didn't deserve to be taken, and it's disgusting. And the system's broken and it needs to change.
right.
It's so sad. If those babies would have been left with Latoya, they'd still be here, happy, healthy. We would never even know about them, to be honest.
And they probably would have been back with their mother by then.
That's true as well, because that's what Latoya was trying to do. She was trying to help um mom, you know, like let her come see her kids on the supervised visitations, and
Yeah,
that way, she would still have a close relationship with them while she worked on what she had to do to get them back. And if anything, if she would have adopted them, she still would have allowed her to be in their life. Now, when
right,
she started expressing her concerns about bruises and malnourishment and how hungry they were and how skinny they were, and there was a scar on Oren's face and there was a bruise on his neck, and I don't think they're treating them well. They didn't have proper haircuts. She had to bring the snacks because the diaper bag didn't have snacks in it. It would have one diaper in it, sometimes none. But who does that? And then how would they be able to go back home with them? If I worked at a facility and I was the one monitoring this visitation, and I was seeing that these foster parents were bringing these children with no food, snack, no diapers, or not enough diapers, I would be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we need to reassess this situation immediately. And
right.
poor Ryan,
They,
she screamed, cried. She tried to get them on board, and when um Trezell and Jacqueline got wind of it, they cut off visitations. I didn't even know they had the right to do that because the kids weren't even adopted yet. And then right after
oh,
they did adopt them, it went through legal after that. And then they started turning away her Christmas gifts and stuff. And then she didn't know that their names were changed, didn't know where they lived. That was it. It was a wrap. And oh my gosh, how is that even possible? How that went down?
yeah,
How did this person supervising the visits not see these kids depleting, not see that they were not well taken care of? If you have a child, whether it's your own or you're fostering it or adopted, and you bring that child to a daycare or a babysitter or a supervised visit, you're going to make sure they have juice, water, snacks, plenty of wipes and diapers. It's almost like they wanted her to pay for it and bring it because it was her kids and it was her time and her visitation. That's what I got out of that part. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, you want to see them, you feed them. Like, it's just so wrong every which way you look at it. Oh, now there's a white butterfly. So I'm enjoying my butterflies this morning.
That's just sad how they did that to her.
I agree, Gail. The caseworker who she was expressing her concerns to, and whoever was supervising those visits, they should have been called to the stand and questioned like really bad. And I'm surprised that the DA didn't do that, didn't pull them in as witnesses and question them. You know, why wasn't Jamal questioned? But yet Josiah
Right.
and Philip and Wanda and Maria were. I'd like to know
Right.
that.
Is it because he's
He's
in?
having visitations with them. Wanda's over there with him in Washington, so if she could do via Zoom, he could have been there on via Zoom to be questioned as well. Thanks, babe. Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's so much about this that was wrong and that blows my mind and breaks my heart. And there's
See
so many
Trezell
of these
back
people.
on the. I wanted to see them on the stand.
Okay, now say something.
Huh?
What did you say? I didn't hear you. I don't know if
Oh,
it's
I'm
my
sorry.
earbuds or on your end, but it was breaking up.
Oh, I said I wanted to see Trezell and Jacqueline take the stand.
They won't. At first, I thought, well, they might because they think they can fool people, but they know they can't fool people because of their only interview they did flopped.
Mm.
So I think they know by now to just keep their mouth shut and let the attorneys talk for them so they don't mess up or implicate themselves anymore. I don't think
Right.
they would. I knew they wouldn't take the stand. I already knew because they're scared. They've messed
they
up enough. They don't want to add to it. They've seen
they
what's
should.
happening to Adrian and how his story kind of changes slightly, and then he's being interrogated, and they didn't want to put themselves through that. They didn't mind watching him go through it, but they didn't want to go through that themselves either.
Right.
And what's funny is that this lady Torres over here thinks she's like Camille or something. She come in hot. She's using same techniques as it. I'm like, did you watch the Johnny Depp trial or something? And you think you're gonna come in and take this whole courtroom over like badass Camille did? No, honey, you're far from Camille. Go take a seat. Like for real. But that's who she reminds me of. Like she's trying to be like.
Right. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to see what else. I'm going
And I
through
still
the.
don't. I don't understand why
Yeah.
Jamal.
What was that? Sarah, I think we lost you. Maybe I pressed something. Hold on.
I
Hey,
am.
hey, Ben.
Good morning,
Oh, there you
everyone.
go. Okay, we hear you now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Trezell and Jacqueline look. Oh, jail has made them look older than what they are.
Yeah, well, look at their attorney, Torres. Look at the beginning of the trial, even before the trial, and then look at the beginning, and then look at her now. Eyes sagging, wrinkles everywhere on her face. She looks like she ain't getting no sleep, which I hope she's not. How can you sleep at night defending these monsters? You know what I mean? Just crazy.
Right.
She legally wasn't giving Trezell money and the loan. Who wasn't, honey? Gail? Wait, legally she broke laws to get them that house. Oh, you're
That pre-
talking about the lady they got the loan from, or the lady that sold them their house? Yes, yeah. Eileen, yeah. She took the stand for like a second and then got swept away. Isn't that the one where there's a rumor where her and Trezell had a thing? Or
oh,
do I have her
really?
mixed up with the other lady? I might have them mixed up sometimes because there's one lady that was doing a loan and then there's another lady that was selling the house, or I don't know. I got confused somewhere with that part. That part was a little bit confusing for me. And if you think about it, and it comes down to it, the night they said the boys wandered out of the yard, point
Hmm.
blank, point blank, period. There was no footprints, period. There was no, the
Yeah,
wind did not cover them up, you know,
they only had.
no, point blank, period. And that speaks volumes. That tells the truth right there on the target, 100%. They were not there, did not walk away.
Right. They made a report that they had video footage of the boys walking away, which they did not have.
Hmm.
They definitely did not have any video footage of the boys walking.
No, but it's up to you if you see him there or not. Remember that. I'm glad the judge said that. When that defense witness was on the stand saying, oh, you zoom in enough and you do this and that, you can see. And the judge says, well, let's be very clear here. It's what you perceive when you're looking at it, and everyone is different. And I'm like, good, I'm glad he cleared that up because it's the truth.
Right.
We all did all that. We zoomed in, we did this, we did that. There's no boys walking, there's no footprints. And if they had the boys walking or a car, it would have been clearer. I don't care how dark out it is. It would have been clear as day that they walked out front of the house and got swooped up by a car. Nope. You can't make something appear that's not there because that's the narrative you want to roll with, you know? Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Star Delight. Exactly. You know what? The thing that got me the most was when the 911 call got leaked right after the trial, and then it's now gone. So not everyone got to hear it, but if you did get to hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I can tell you, but it was different hearing it and for yourself. So when first called 911, it was very casual and calm. No urgency, no panic, no, oh my God, this and that, my kids are missing, come help. It was
He's like,
like this. Um,
"Hey,
it was like
you
this.
miss."
Look, listen, he was like, yeah, he's like, I was just calling to see if anyone had called in that they might have found two little black boys. And she's like, I don't understand do you have an emergency? What are you telling me? Do you have kids missing? And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, my boys wandered out of the yard and I can't find them. So I was wondering if anyone called in that they might have found a couple little black boys. See, he thought he was slick, but that actually showed his true colors. And
Right.
then they pulled that from, you can't find that no more. It's long gone. I don't even know how it got leaked, but I did listen to it and I was like, OMG. OMFG. Like, this is another wow moment for me. Like, this really tops the cake. He was too calm, like having a casual conversation with the 911 operator. She sounded confused because there was no urgency or fear, or like, oh my God, my kids. She's like trying to figure it out. She's like, wait, is there an emergency? Do you have kids missing, sir? Like, tell me what's going
Yeah,
on. Like, you're being vague. You're being too vague and too calm, basically.
yeah, he's calm and very polite and just like, what is going on? Like, you don't even sound worried.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I understand people with illnesses can still take care of a kid, but Maria's getting up there and she has to, I guess, has to use this walker and stuff. How do you keep up with the young kids you have? When you have young kids, you have to be very active with them. You can't just let them run around and, oh, yell at them here and there and just let them kind of run around. No, you have to do things with them, be present, treat them with care, treat them, do things, bond with them, create memories. It just
Right,
wasn't about that for them. And still to this day, I think Maria needs those kids taken out of her house. She's over here playing, oh, elderly lady with a walker, no English, I know, remember. Then what the hell you got all these kids for? And what's the youngest
right.
one? 7, I
I'm not
believe.
sure.
I'm not for sure on that. Don't quote me, but I want to say the youngest one she has is 7. What
Hmm.
is going on?
Yeah, like, how are you taking care of children and you over here looking like you senile and don't know anything?
And somebody who's been in the courtroom said that Maria sat outside of the courthouse for 2 days waiting to testify. Isn't that weird? First of
That
all,
is,
it wasn't, unless they told her they weren't sure if they were ready for her, so to show up and be there, but why wouldn't you sit in the courtroom? And if you were told
just
not to, okay, like, this whole thing has been weird. It's not been aired. It's, the 911 call was recanted. Um, Maria apparently showed up and sat outside the courthouse for 2 days waiting to testify. The whole thing is weird. Wanda West knew she was to testify, took off to Washington, got away with it, was able to do via Zoom. Come on, this is BS, you
yeah. And
know?
then the interview, you told me that the guy was just saying what or Adrian said all over again.
Yeah, it was like a narrating, but role playing. It was so odd for me. I can't imagine what it looked like in the courtroom. All I know is that when I clicked on the audio that day, I heard a grown man being questioned and him saying, yeah, my name's Adrian. I'm 10. And he's narrating the interview from the grand jury before the trial. And I'm thinking, this is the weirdest thing ever. Then on Twitter, KGET tweeted that today will be them reading transcripts from the grand jury, and he said even the judge was going to be reading some of it. And I thought, this is just what are we playing, role play here? Like, this is not this is,
It's
I
very
don't know. I've never seen it before, and I couldn't even listen to it. It was so weird. I can't even think of the word that I want to say. It was awkward as it was awkward. I'm like, this is just weird. I get it. Like, why don't you just sit up there and read it? But no, they were role playing. You had one reading one thing, him answering as Adrian, someone else saying that. I'm like, no, this is wow.
a lot
I'm
going
just like,
on
wow.
in the
Hmm.
trial. It's a, that I've never seen before, like in any other trial.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen a trial like this, but I've never seen a adoption case like this, especially go so fast.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if we got anything that we missed out on. I know a lot happened.
Um,
It's just like,
I'm gonna say something real quick to Gail. I need to address this. I understand we
oh,
all have our own theories, but from what we've heard, we know what has happened to the boys, and they have not been trafficked, so we don't need to discuss that. You see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be rude. I just want to make it clear that that's not what happened.
we're just not trying to discredit the kid on what he said.
We're not trying to discredit what really happened to or Classic and Sincere. Their own
Right.
mother, and a mother knows, their own mother said when she was on her interview, when she found out that they were missing, I know they did something to him. I'm their mother, and I know in my gut something bad happened. She said it herself. She felt it, and mothers feel that. They feel it. They know. They know when their child something bad happened and they're not there. No more.
And he's
You know.
acting strange and everything with her. She knows. She
Hmm.
felt it.
She knew. Hi, one hot Nana, Nama. I don't know if that. I almost said Mama, and I noticed it's an N. Thank you for joining us. I think we pretty much covered like all the
Yeah,
BS and stuff, but oof.
most of everything. And Wanda West being a liar. We know that.
Yeah, you think you got it, but you don't, but you do, and you'll be sorry. I don't know about that. I think we had it, we got it, we knew it. It is what it was, and you're gonna be sorry.
Yep.
Don't forget when that lady rolled past the house and said, "Where are the boys?" She said, "At your house."
They're at your
Remember?
house. That was not
Yeah, that's
funny.
weird. It's not funny.
Yeah, why
And then,
say that?
oh, her, her interview. Her and Philip went on the news because they were being harassed at their house. Where are the boys? Where are the boys? Well, I mean, that's not being threatened. Like they're trying to say that YouTubers and everybody was threatening them. They weren't. They were questioning them. Where are the boys? Where are the boys? They weren't threatening them. And they went on and did their little interview and said, "We're mourning right now too." Wait, what you mourning? You
They're
mean
grieving.
you're distraught and yeah, you're grieving. You mean to say you're upset and are hoping the boys are found safe. That never even was said. It was we're grieving right now too, and there was nothing about trying to find the
Yeah.
boys safe. They
Leave us
knew. She
alone.
knew. She knows.
What are you grieving about? Like, why do we have to leave you alone? We're trying to help you find the boys, and you guys are not even coming out to look for them. We looked
I
for,
mean,
well, not me, boots on the ground, look for them more than they ever even came out. The
right.
only time I ever come out was when they were in the graveyard and they decided to walk around, Trezell and Philip West.
I thought it was
So
Josiah and Trezell, actually.
now it's Philip and Trezell.
Is it? Dang.
Yeah.
Well, they all be wearing the trench coat with the stick. I don't know.
Yeah, covering their face and everything. Nobody could see who they are. And why are you acting
Right.
like that?
Hmm.
What's
Why
they
why you so
guys have
interested that they're at the graveyard, but any other time you weren't popping your heads out looking, trying to see what they were doing? So something about that
right,
graveyard is a little funky too, and it's right there, like literally at the end of the street and across the street.
right. And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
but they
Mm-hmm.
they they were very like on the offense since day one. They didn't want to go outside to look for the boys. Like it's just like nobody was threatening you on the first day. Like, why are you so scared?
And
Like,
you
it
know what,
doesn't
though?
make
Nobody ever threatened them. Never, not once. Nobody ever threatened them. It was always questions. Where are the boys? What happened to them? Do you know? Where are the boys? Why are you, why is this? Why is that? Why is it? No one ever physically threatened them. Their house
right,
didn't have windows broken. The home in Cal City, okay, someone kind of lost their shit and threw and broke windows and stuff. But you can't, that had nothing to do with Wanda's home, and she
right,
wasn't being threatened, and nobody went in their yard, threw anything into the yard, none of that. If anything, they took video pictures and questioned them, and that was it. So she's over there in the courtroom saying, one of the questions when she was on the stand is, did you receive threats? And she goes, oh, the only people that threatened me was YouTubers. No, they didn't, ma'am. It's all on recording and it's still up. Nobody ever
yeah.
threatened you.
She right away, even with the that page where she was writing, oh, like she even said it there, like, oh, she was getting threatened and everything, and she's just like, I have a good family, and you guys shouldn't be
Hmm.
threatening. And it's just like, you're doing too much. Go look for the boys. Like,
Right. Starlet says, yeah, Wanda knows what happened. She didn't even buy the boys a Christmas gift. Absolutely. She tried saying that she couldn't find robes in their size, and she bought them all robes, which was
right,
funny because right before her, she said that Jacqueline's sister was on the stand, Perla, and she says she bought the robes. Am I wrong?
mm, I didn't catch that,
Everybody was
but
talking about it in chat, and I was like, that's what I thought I heard too. I thought Perla said she bought the Christmas gifts and brought up the robes. And then Wanda's over here talking about robes and wanting them. And a lot of people think that they were pressured into reporting the boys missing because Wanda was starting to say, question where the boys are and say, I want a picture in front of the Christmas tree with everyone in their robes. Well, first of all, the youngest two didn't even have robes yet. And
right,
second of all, that's not what happened. She already knew. That's why when they dropped the other kids off at her house the day before, or 2 days before, I'm sorry, she sat in
yeah.
the car for at least 20 minutes talking with them. Didn't look in the back. It was too dark to see the boys, but believed they were back there sleeping that whole time. No, that was a secret meeting to discuss that. Okay, we're ready. This is what we're going to do. This is the
What's the
plan. We're going to
plan?
report them missing. She was in on it 100%.
Definitely, I agree.
Yeah, that was
She
a
knows.
secret meeting. Because when she first said it, she said she got the kids. They got out of the van. She said she went in the house. They said the other two were sleeping in the van. And we were all like, wait a minute. Why wouldn't you peek your head in and look at your grandbabies and be like, oh, even though they're asleep, oh, hey, da da da, or just look at them real quick to see them. We all said that. Now she's saying she was actually in the dang van. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa, now her story changed and no one's interrogating her, but they sure will to a child. And I don't understand that. And then the judge did piss me off because he allowed Torres to interrogate Adrian so heavily. I felt like I was sweating under a hot light. And then the next day, when a grown woman was being interrogated by Torres, he put a stop to it. And I'm like, why did you allow her to do this to a child? But the next day, you're not going to let her do this to a grown woman who is a witness who, okay,
it's
let her do it.
just weird.
Everything is. I'm like, sometimes I question if the judge is even the right judge for the case.
Right. Star Delay
Thank God
says knows too.
thank
Who
God he
makes a
has no
joke?
say so in the verdict.
Yeah. Star Delay says Maria knows too. Who makes a joke about missing kids, comparing them to socks? Correct.
Yep.
Word.
Yes, and two, her testimony conflicts with her daughter's because Jacqueline says, no, I don't, my mom don't see the kids. And Maria says, no, I don't see them. They do their own thing. I do my own thing. Like they do their own lives. Even though they live next door, they've got money bags to take care of, right? So no, we don't see
Yeah.
each other and spend quality time as a family because that's not what their family's about. Their family was about making money. So you've got one saying one thing they never see, and Jacqueline's like, when I go over there, it's just me. She didn't want me bringing the kids. It was just me. So, but then you've got all these statements that Maria had the kids, or the kids were visiting Maria, or Maria came to the house, and they're saying she's never been to the house in Cal City, but we all saw her on video pull up after the boys were reported missing, and she went inside and she had kids with her. And she's trying to say she had no kids
Right.
with her. She pulled up, never went in, and I'm like, no, 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 we saw it for ourselves. Don't lie. So we know she's a liar because we've seen her
Right.
lie physically, like with our own eyes. I don't believe in nothing come out of none of their damn mouths. Sorry, I'm getting
Right.
all whew,
All of
fired
them
up
are trying
thinking
to
back.
protect each other or protect themselves. They're lying somehow.
Uh-huh. You know what, Gail? I will. I am curious, actually. But he doesn't have a final say in the verdict, so at this point, it's kind of like, but, and there's some things about the judge I did like. Like I said, he stood up and he said, look, that's everyone's own perception, what they see in the video. So that discredited the defense's witness and what he was trying to say. It's
Hmm.
bunk, you know. Gail says that the judge has complaints on him, prior complaints. I don't like the way he ran this trial. It should have been televised. Um, it's okay if you didn't want anyone re-recording it and rebroadcasting it on their own YouTube. That's different, but it should have been like the Gannon Stotch, like Casey, I mean Kaylee Anthony, all the cases I can name off. It should have been
Right.
televised. I don't know why it's not. The only thing I can think of why it's not is in case it comes back not guilty, they won't get a double jeopardy. They'll be able to get a new jury trial and bring them up again for similar charges, or they can retry them type thing. You see what I'm saying? So in
Yeah.
case, say there's a hung jury and they get off, they're going to want to pull them back in and retry them, do a whole new trial, get a whole new jury. So I don't think that's the only reason why I think this one was not aired, is because they're not sure which way it's going to go yet, because there was not enough, there's no bodies. So this is why I think it's being protected like that, in case they have to be retried.
Or all of this damn corruption that's going on. They don't want it to get out there.
Oh, the more secretive they are, the more that we see it. So that's not working out for them. You know?
Yeah.
Mm.
The CPS corruption. These
And that's
people are
another
the worst.
point, one hot Nama. Why let us listen and not see it? Like, it just doesn't even make sense, because if they did have to retry them, the jurors that are polled, yes, they're questioned. Have you ever heard of this case? Did you follow it on social media? I honestly don't know many people who haven't. I mean,
Right.
this was very big. It still is. Almost everybody knows about it or has at least seen it once, you know? So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. It's so weird.
It's definitely weird.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, and the kids testifying. That's probably why it's not aired either. They don't want to put minors out there. But it would have been awesome for us to see all of the people's faces and like all of the witnesses while they testify,
But you know,
and then for the
even
yeah.
then, they could have they could have aired the whole trial except for the parts where the boys were on the stand to protect them because they're minors. So that still don't make sense to me. I'm sorry. It's like
Mm.
there's ways they could have worked around that part. I just disgusted with the whole damn thing. Can't wait for to see them rot in prison. Oh, you see, I have to bring this up. You see Trezell in court the other day, all jacked up. Someone got to him, or he's pounding his head to the wall. I'm not sure, but he had a lump on the side of his head and a black eye. And that's not the first black eye he showed up in court with either. And I know people get dark rings when they're not getting sleep, but we're not in just one eye, not just one eye, not the other. So no. And where did the big lump? It looked red and fresh too. And maybe they're pouncing them around on their way to court. I don't know, but somebody's getting to them,
Oh,
and I'm like, get
I
them.
wonder if the people in jail know that that's Jacqueline and Trezell. They would be putting hands and paws on them.
Yeah, they will. And do you know what they do in the prisons and jails? They hand out playing cards that have missing persons or unsolved cases on them, just in case you might know something or you might talk to some other like prisoner and hear something about it. You can connect it and go rat them out. They do that on
Hmm.
purpose. And so you can't tell me these boys' faces in this case ain't on a pair of playing cards in these jails, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm sure everyone knows who they are. And even if they're PC'd up, they can still get to them. Some of the guards will let them be gotten to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. They'll let them
Hmm.
get beat up.
Oh shoot, go ahead, go take your shower, and then next thing you know, he's getting beat up in the shower. That's just that easy. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just anxious. I'm so anxious.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the verdict.
I'm
I
be on
know
pins and needles.
it's gonna be a tough wait.
I know it seems like we're getting there. We're so close, but it feels like it's taking forever at the same time.
Right. Oh, and then the kid saying that he doesn't have a favorite memory of his mother and father.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like that was wild. Like how you
Well,
don't
he
have a
had one
favorite
good
memory?
memory of his dad was the making of the bread, and
Oh
that was
yeah,
it.
the make.
Oh, and they would watch that show, the anime together. And the defense ran with that one too. Oh boy. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
what
the
she was
anime.
doing. That was a weird way of twisting things. I don't know what she was doing. If anyone was
She was trying to.
twisting and coaching a child's brain, it was her. Like,
Yeah,
you're bringing up this anime show that someone died, and he keeps saying, no, he didn't die. He had to defeat the other character to survive. And she's like, okay, let me try this again another way. And then she was getting irritated with him. And I'm like, stop trying to plant something in his head. It's not
right.
working.
And
You know?
she's like, and they spit nothing out their mouth in the cartoon or anything. Like it's like what? Like what are you talking about? She's trying
Hmm.
to make it like the cartoon, and then he instantly thought of like, oh, putting that into real life. Oh, I don't know, but she is bugging.
Yeah, one hot Nama accidentally bumped the wall. He tripped. He tripped with those shackles on and he landed and face planted into the wall a little bit. I'm reading through comments. I'm sure you are too. I just want to try and address everybody. Um,
Yeah.
you ain't lying, one hot Nama. Every judge does have a complaint, at least one complaint against them, right? Whew, it's getting hot over here. It's 90 degrees in the shade, y'all. Oh my God, please. Oh
Oh
my.
wow. I'm just looking to see if we touched based on everything. But it seems
Yeah,
like
I'm
we
trying
touched
to
based on
think.
everything.
I stopped taking notes because I have like a really good memory because I'm very passionate about what's being said and done in this case. So it's pretty
Right.
much there. I might have missed a few things, but I think I pretty much covered everything that I thought was significant. I'm sure there's a few other things, but it's just wild. I don't know how Jamal gets off so easy. Somebody needs to
Yeah.
expose him. I looked at his page yesterday, his Facebook page, and he had posted the boys once, only once on his page about them being missing
I,
at the very beginning. And then after that, nothing.
I'd never even seen that post. I could have
I was
sworn he never
shocked.
posted.
Same here. And I was like, wait, he did post just once, but that was after we were all lighting that little fire under him because we were commenting on his post. Hey, you're very prominent and you have a platform. Why aren't you, using it for the boys, awareness for the boys missing? These are your nephews. So he made one
Right.
post on his Facebook, and that was that. And that was at the very beginning, and then that was it. And it was only let get off my back post to be honest, that's my opinion. And to look good, like, oh, I did share it. No, you have a platform. Okay. We aren't prominent. People don't know us, and we're using our platforms and our voices. Can you please be a
Right.
voice for the boys and utilize your platform?
Right.
Like, he could have gotten it national quicker. He could have gotten certain, private investigators, maybe. He could have maybe gotten certain, it
Right.
aired on TV more. Like, no, he
He
didn't
has
do that. And that speaks volume. He didn't
he
want
has
to
a lot.
taint, he tried to keep his personal life away from it because he didn't want to paint his future and his life and his going ons. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He didn't want to be attached to the case. I'm still shocked that he was never on the stand. He should have been questioned. I'm not saying like, okay, he wasn't one to babysit the kids, so I can kind of see that. Okay, so he doesn't know much. He lives in Washington. Um, but you're doing visitations according to Wanda. So now wait a minute here. You're involved now. So are you help coaching them with your knowledge of legalities and are you help
Right.
coaching their way through? Why all of a sudden you visiting them when you weren't around before? And it just it don't add up. But if you put two and two together, it adds up in another way.
Mhm.
I get creep vibes about Jamal too, girl. Hot and Emma.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He's a creep.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. And NAACP should be ashamed of themselves because they have been made very well aware of this situation, and he's still very much part of them, hiding behind them, like you said, Gail. And I know I wouldn't want all that. I would, I would have addressed it with them, like, hey, what's going on? Is there anything we can do to help for your nephews to make it not look bad on the NAACP? Like, hey, we're gonna help you spread awareness and address this in a positive way because there's a lot of negative going on about you right now, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
shame on them as well. I'm not saying it's everybody's job to jump in and use a platform and to take on any case, but he is part of that family. He has a platform. He's part of the NAACP. He's prominent, and he didn't utilize any of that for awareness for the boys. Like he already knew it was worthless. It was no point in doing so. So I'm sure he was one of the numbers reached out to at some point for advice from Jacqueline and Trezell, I bet you. I still don't understand how he hasn't been pulled in as a questioning as a witness. So odd. And Gail, we all did demand his removal at one point. They don't care. What little boys does he have in Washington, Gail? Yes, Opal, it's highly weird. Why would you go on vacation to Jamal's house in Washington right around the time you're due to be on the stand?
Right.
Because he's coaching her in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she would, oh, and let me tell you this, because I have watched a lot of stuff on, and my dad used to, he has like a degree in body language and like, all that stuff, how to read people and know when they're lying or telling the truth. So I was taught that growing up as well. And then I watch shows where they show certain, like the hand tuck under the arms, and if they wipe their face or they have their hands up or down means different things and stuff like that. And
Right.
what do you call it? Um, I had a point. Let me get to it. Oh my God, what was my point? So just watching the mannerisms from the interview and the way Wanda and all of them were acting, it speaks volumes. Oh, that's what, okay, I brought myself back to where I wanted to be. Wanda, when she was on the stand and she was being questioned, a lot of it just flew out and she said it, right? But then there was moments where it got quiet and she'd say, give me a minute to process what you just asked me. Or she would say, can you repeat the question? Or she would repeat it back to them before answering it. Those are all signs of deception. She's given herself time to think of what to say so she don't F up.
Mm.
So if someone asks you, when was the last time you seen the boys? And she goes, wait, when was the last time I seen the boys? No, you don't repeat the question, honey. You to answer it. When you repeat a question back, you know, and then she tried pulling, well, I just need a second to process the question. Hold on, give me a minute. No, there shouldn't be time. This is serious. Like you should know a yes or no or a this or that. She totally played.
Right.
She was playing.
Right.
I do remember hearsay about the boys group home thing, Gail, but I don't know if that was ever confirmed or proven. Same for me, Opal. It's hard when you're hearing it and not seeing it, but at the same time, even just hearing it says a lot. I just, I'm like you, I want to see the body language as well, but, and exactly, the truth is easier to recall than a lie. You don't need time to think. It just flows out. Just like in Adrian's interview when he was 10. He didn't need time to think. He was just telling what happened. Yes, you could tell when he got a little quiet and then he evaded some of it and there's more to it that he's not telling. You can like tell. But for the most part, he told the basics. So And no 10-year-old is going to just be like, oh, yeah, I touched his leg and it was cold, and mom and dad's no, 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 no. Mm-mm. No one,
Right.
no 10-year-old's gonna make that up or be coached to say that. And that's one thing he never took back. He never changed that. How about what they're like, oh, he changed his story here and there. Yeah, but if you think about it, he never changed the fact that Oren died. He never changed the fact that he touched his leg and it was cold. It was little
Yep.
things he might have changed because he was in fear and threatened and coached not to say anything. And those are recorded calls where he was told, don't say anything. You don't have to if you don't want to. You don't tell your kid that. You tell your kid, tell the truth, the whole truth, and
Right.
nothing but the truth so we can get through this and move on with our lives if you're innocent.
Right.
Yeah. Hi, the real T.
Hey, she finally made it.
She's like, yeah, I made it. Yes, my nerves are shot too from this. That's why I'm like, oh, I can't wait for them to say guilty on all counts. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I still think there should be more charges though. They should have went for more in case something they could have been not guilty on this and guilty on that. They needed to be guilty on the child abuse with the statement that the 16-year-old gave to the police from jump. She was
Right.
abusing those children and she was buying them hush presents. Period. That's abuse and neglect, and they should be charged with such. I was shocked that that wasn't in the charges. Or read what the
Right.
charges are. Can you pull that up real quick, just to refresh everyone's memory of what we're about to hear? Can you pull it up and read what they're
Okay.
being
Let-
charged with?
Let's see.
I have them, but they're on my phone that I'm on, and if I click out, it might disconnect me. They're not in my other phone, so that's why I'm like,
It,
if you have
they're
them,
on
just
my phone,
take a
but
peek
I
real
think I
quick.
could pull them up. Yeah.
It's
Give
on the
me a
first
second.
page of the transcripts. It'll say people versus Jacqueline and Trezell West, and then it'll tell their charges shortly somewhere on that page or the next page. Probably
Hmm.
on that page, usually. Man, I don't know what I need to go in the house. Between my olive tree and allergies and this heat, I don't know what it's doing to my voice and my throat and chest. Excuse me, you guys.
Give me a second.
And my kids are homeschooled and they're working on their computers right now, so I was trying to stay outside so I don't interfere with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
School's almost over, so it's not like like they have a whole bunch to do. It's kind of like, just little assignments here and there to where I don't have to sit and help with them, which is good. But I don't want to distract them. Um,
I got like a little rundown, but not really the full. It just says 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of child cruelty, and a false report of an emergency.
Yeah, but there was also coercion and threats against the
Yeah,
minor and bringing in a
there's
minor.
more.
So I'm just wondering why there was no child abuse and neglect, or maybe there is. That's why I was like, let me refresh my memory. It's been a minute since I looked at all the charges. There was quite a few.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it's on my phone, so I
Right?
can't even like pull it up.
The real the the real T, she needs to be punished the same way she was punishing those children. I 100% agree with you. If I could, I would too. Cash her out
Right.
fast. No, I just had to throw that in there. That meme I made was ridiculous, but funny. Um,
Yeah. So pretty much we touched bases on everything. Or are we waiting to get the charges? Hold on.
Yeah, I was
I'm
trying to look real quick. Hold on.
trying to pull them up too.
I'm just gonna use my other phone and look them in the group because they're in the group. That's probably the best way
Oh
to
yeah,
pull them up.
definitely.
See, I don't throw away my phones. Still use them or let my kids use them with Wi-Fi only. So that's what I'm doing. It's a little slow, so bear with me. We don't destroy phones over here in my house. We ain't got nothing to hide. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ugh,
Oh, check your messenger, Sarah. It said in the comments.
I will here in just right now.
Oh, you
Sorry.
can't phone. Okay.
My phone's just being so slow. I'm like, come on. And the internet in my neighborhood is really terrible. Slow, slow. Come on. Come on. Oh my God. Oh, wait. I have to log into my Sarah Jean account. I'm on my Sarah Jean Randlet in Messenger.
I'm still trying to find.
Oh, come on, phone. Please. I'm like, don't squeeze up on me now. Okay, I got it. Hold on.
And remember how their windows were all broken because supposedly somebody threw a rock at their windows?
Right.
I think they did that to themselves.
Probably so they would have a reason to leave and look like they're not running and hiding. I
Right.
thought about that too. Because that wasn't on video with all these camera footages being pulled up in court. Why wasn't the people threatening and they wanted to bring it up so much? Why didn't you show the video that this really happened? Like, prove it.
Right. Exactly.
Just because there's a broken window and it's boarded up doesn't prove that who did it, you know?
Exactly.
Okay. Sorry, my phone is so slow. And she sent me a lot, so I'm trying to find the part where I need to. Okay, count one is murder, I think. Okay, it says Trezell and Jacqueline West did with malice um, a forethought murder, a human being. They blacked out the name. I'm pretty sure that said Oren. In violation of, okay, it is further alleged that the above offense is okay, we don't need to read that. So one count murder, and then the other one is circum circumstance in aggravation, saying that the defendant, Trezell West and Jacqueline West, committed a crime that involved great violence threat of great bodily harm, or other acts disclosing a high degree of cruelty, viciousness, or callousness within the meaning of California law, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then we have circumstance and aggravation for the other child. It says who was particularly vulnerable, so I'm believing that that would be Oren within the meanings of the California law, blah, blah, blah. And the same thing with and then there's circumstance in aggravation. It is further alleged that the defendant, Trezell West and Jacqueline West, induced others to participate in the commission of the crime or occupied a position of leadership or dominance of other participants in its commission within the meaning of, okay, that's California law. And then you have, it is further alleged that the defendants P and J induced a minor to commit or assist in the commission of a crime within the meaning of, okay, the law, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, guys. I know I'm terrible. It is further alleged that the defendants P and J threatened witnesses, unlawfully prevented or dissuaded witnesses from testifying, suborned perjury, or in any way illegally interfered with the judicial process. And then you have, it is further alleged that the defendant, P&J, took advantage of a position of trust or confidence to commit the offense. Then you have count 2. That was all count 1, by the way. Then you have count
Wow.
2. Count 2 is T&J did willfully and lawfully fail to perform a legal duty in a criminally negligent manner, causing the death of blank, a human being, in violation of the penal code, involuntary manslaughter. See, that's basically like it was an accident, you see?
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize it said that till right now. It does say involuntary manslaughter, which is a felony. And then you have, it is further alleged that T&J committed a crime that involved great violence, threat of great bodily harm, or the other disclosing, I'm sorry, or other acts disclosing a high degree of cruelty, viciousness, and callousness. Okay, and so this is
Wow.
basically the same charges all over again, but for Oren. Orson. The first were all for Oren.
Right.
So I think that's basically it, because it's all the same after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I was trying to just get a breakdown of not like read. That was good to read. I'm glad I did that, but I just want to see their charges on a. I know where to find it. Just hold on.
Yeah, I'm just
Wow,
checking my
this
notes.
phone is slow.
There are 7 counts being charged. The 7th is false report of a crime. Their actions speak louder than their words, and I believe they all played a part and lied in court. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this phone. Sorry, hold on. Oh my God. Okay. As soon as my phone unfreezes, I think I found what I want to read. Come on. Mm. Okay, come on. We're almost there. A lot of technical difficulties today. Thank you
Yeah,
guys for being patient with us,
we're,
but we'll get
we're
there.
still trying to.
We'll,
Once I
mm.
figure out how to go on the computer, maybe I can start playing videos and stuff. I just gotta figure this
I
out.
need I need to charge my laptop and start using it more too. I just such a phone person because I'm constantly multitasking and I can't carry a laptop around with me, you know. So
Right.
I'm having
So
like
much
to,
easier.
yeah, I've been neglecting my laptop. I'm like I can do so much more on it though. Okay, we have two
Yeah.
counts of second-degree murder, one count involuntary manslaughter, two counts of cruelty to a child, one count conspiring to commit a murder. So the one involuntary manslaughter would be Oren to me. The one of conspiring to commit a murder would be Orson for me. That's just my opinion. You have one.
Yeah. Sarah, I think we lost you. Yeah, I
Hold
think.
on.
Okay, you're back.
Okay. It's saying I'm getting a phone call, but it won't let me pull it up and end it. My phone's overheating out here. So that was their charges.
Oh,
And then the final charge was one count false reporting of an emergency. So that's their charges. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven altogether.
wow.
So two count second degree murder, one count involuntary manslaughter. For me, that's Ord. Two counts cruelty of a child to a child. One count conspiring to commit murder. To me, that would be Orson. And then the one count of false reporting of an emergency, which is falsely reporting them missing.
I honestly thought there were gonna be more witnesses, there were gonna be more evidence, but
And more
I guess.
charges as well. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm about done with this phone. Nope. I just want to make sure that was it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all.
I think we'll close up this session soon because I gotta pick up my son soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go make my son's lunch here in a minute as well. Um, I'm trying to get back to the chat so I can read it, but my phone froze up, so I don't know.
Oh.
Ridiculous.
They said, remember how Wanda said she doesn't have a vehicle and had one to rent? I wonder who has the car that's registered to her.
Yeah, because she said she had a rent one, remember? Hers wasn't working or something, and then it went to she didn't have one. I heard two things. At first, I heard her say her car wasn't working. Then I heard her say she
Mhm.
didn't have a car. So I don't know. She changes her story a lot.
And then she has a vehicle under her name, so.
Wacky Wanda. I like to actually refer to her as the fish called Wanda for some reason. About to put her face on a fish later. Um,
Yeah, I think we're good. Do you have anything you need to say to end it?
no, I was just making sure that we covered everyone in the comments.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Someone had a good point too in the chat, um,
Hmm.
the case chat, that if Jacqueline was sold art and stuff, don't you think she would have records on her phone, pictures, like all this stuff. And if she was into all that, wouldn't she have more pictures of the kids and all this stuff? And that was a good point as well.
She would, but guess what? They just changed their phones. They just threw out their other
But
phones.
who
They don't have.
but who destroys their phones and gets rid of them? Because even then, there's phone records. Everything's still gonna get pulled, you dummies. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
go away.
They
Everything you do
were
on your phone is somewhere and will be found.
right.
They were able to pull up pinging locations without the phone. They were able to see what was deleted and, well, not exactly what was deleted, but certain things were deleted, like
Yeah.
locations and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they were driving all over the world.
And thank you for sending those, Opal. I appreciate it. Um,
Yeah,
Opal,
we
I need
all
you to
still
make
have
me a fish called Wanda. I'm like, you're
a
good. You can make me one. Let's see. Yes, exactly. One hot Nama. I give my phones to my kids to use or for spare for me. Like right now, I'm using one because my main one I'm on. I'm using my other one to do my research or to read your guys' comments. Plus, I have
Yeah.
pictures on them. I still have old flip phones. Like I have so many. And there was one time with the mailman, they were handing out these little plastic bags for you to recycle and donate your old cell phones to soldiers who were over, um, who had been, what do you call it? They're over at war or whatever. And
Yeah.
we were gonna do it, but I was nervous. I was like, what if I can't get everything off that old phone? I don't want to send it off that phone and lose any of my pictures or information or something I might need off of there. And so I felt guilty about it, to be honest, because I'm like, these soldiers do need phones while they're out there to keep in touch with their family and whatnot. But at the same time, I
Yeah.
wasn't about to give up my phone. Well, I don't care if it was 10 years old. It had stuff on it, and I'm sorry, I'm not wealthy enough to just go pull all that stuff and get it put somewhere else. So I do hang on to my old phone. If I need something, I can pull it as needed. But I just can't I'm not a hoarder and I don't have like a box full of phones, but I have a couple handfuls, I'm sure, between me and my husband and my kid breaking a couple of his, you know.
Yeah, people just don't throw out their old phones. It's
Nope.
like, and then at the same time, like it just is all adding up.
Hmm. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. We're just missing the one major one. Where are the boys?
Exactly.
I think we pretty much kind of know what happened. We may not know exactly. We may not never know. And we all have our own theories, and that's cool. But where are the boys? Like,
That's all we
dang,
want to
man.
know. That's
All the
all we
money
want to
they
know.
wasted, all the money they wasted on half of this crap that went down in the trial could have been used to search the landfill that they said they didn't have enough money for, that they searched just briefly. Okay, it had already been too long by the time you went out there. So you're gonna make what are you looking for? Why did you even waste the money then to go search? Because by then it had been 3 months. You're not gonna find anything. You need money to go in and dig and find the needle in the haystack if you're gonna do it. So don't half-ass
Right.
it. Don't
My phone is dying. I gotta put it on the charger.
listen all this stuff
Sarah,
that
oh, you went out. Nobody heard you.
oh, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Man, okay, I was saying about the the landfill being searched briefly. It had been 3 months. They didn't have enough money to search it. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. So instead of wasting
Oh,
money on half this crap that went on in the trial and stuff like that, like, come on, let's get it together. Now, we were able to, the community and the public was able to raise money for billboards and whatnot. I think we should start raising money to do search in the landfill.
right. To
I,
do
I
searches. Yeah,
I
I
know a lot of
agree.
people would donate to that. And once they have enough money, they can go in and really look for what they need. They're not going to
Right.
find all, but they're going to, maybe they can find enough. Maybe they can find some to seal the deal. It's just that we never heard about that witness with the trash can until now, or I'm sure that would have already been done. We'd already raised a bunch of money and paid for the search to happen. That's just my opinion.
Right.
So that's probably what we should be working on next, conviction or not, which we're going to get. We need to find them still, right? So I think we need to maybe come up with a little plan. And I don't know if we can get in touch with, the detectives and see if this is something that we can possibly do. Are they willing to be on board if we raise the money for them to go do what we need them to do? You know?
Yeah.
Well, most places do one hot NAMA. That's what my only worry is by now. All right, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up because my phone's freezing up and yours is dying, and you got to get your son, and I
Okay.
gotta go feed. I gotta go feed mine. Thank you, everybody that
Yeah.
joined.
Yes.
Please hit
Thank
the
you.
like button on your way out if you haven't, please. For Slim,
Yeah.
she's been in this since day one. She's been covering this um
We
very thoroughly.
both of us have. We yeah definitely be on was on this case for a long time since day one. Um. Wait.
I agree with you, boy mom. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm a boy mom too.
Um.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm in the club.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
um. All right. So thank you for coming, Sarah.
You're welcome, and everybody
And
just pray on 12. Pray
yeah,
on it. That's all
pray
we
on the
need, and
boys.
I feel like
All right.
we have it.
Yeah, we're gonna get the justice we need. Definitely. All right. Everyone have
All
a great
right,
day.
everyone.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.